Okay. I thought maybe it would be fun to do a super quick and totally unscripted recording showing how I draw Sans-and-Frisk from Seventh Soul, I guess. It's something I've kind of wanted to do for a while, so, okay, let's see, start with a circle, right? And then, you know, you do like guidelines or whatever. I don't know. And I usually always start with like the doot in the face where the eye goes. Like, you know, like it does like that. And then it's got kind of like, you know, a angular jaw. And then like that. And then like the head go like this, go around like that, and then I do like that, something like that. Okay, and then neck kind of situation. And then like the shoulders or whatever go like, you know, broad shoulders. Like male characters usually have broader shoulders. He's got like the little turtleneck thingy going on. Okay, and then this guideline is already totally not, like I always draw one and then it's not like exactly where it should be. So I redraw it. The nose. How do I do noses? I do it real simple. I just do like a line like that and then a line like that. And then, cause you know, he uses like a skeleton nose, it's like this and then like this. Little upside down triangle. Like so. I'll often adjust the crap out of this because like even like right now I think that might be going down a little too low. Something like this. And then his eyes are usually they're like straight like that, you know, like nonchalant whatever eyes. But sometimes, you know, you can give it like a little curve. Like show. It's like not a perfect semicircle, but you know, just kind of do a weird shape. I don't know what you call that shape, but that's what I do. And then like I'll like define like where the bottom will go first. I'll always do like top and bottom first. Like that. And then, you know, because he's got hollow eyes, it'll connect. Because it's at this angle, it'll be... Why do I get a call right now of all times? Okay. Anyway. Be like flat on that side. The bottom of the eye might, because of the angle, be a little flatter. And then like that. And then adjust as needed, cause that one eye's looking a little too big. It's just a lot of adjusting and trial and error, but you know, whatever. I'm good at tutorials. Anyway, and then like the eyelid. Yeah, I know he's a skeleton, he shouldn't have eyelids. I don't care. And then, you know, give him like a eyebrow like that, and like the nose part kind of shows you where it should start, I guess. I usually always try to like, and then maybe I'll adjust this because I do this part, the little doot part, like the forehead should start right above the eyebrow, like that. And then, you know, sassy eyebrow look. I don't know. the eyebrows are like thicker towards that side and it gets thinner as it goes out, like so. Add like a little something like that. Forget his scar and then remember, oh yeah, that's right, he has a scar, and usually to draw that I just draw like that and then I add a little line like this. And bada boom, you got a scar. And then I always make his eyelights, I always go like kind of triangular instead of perfectly round. Once again, that eye is looking like too tall. I think it needs to be a little more relaxed. There we go. And give him like a little kind of wrinkle there. I don't know what you call that, whatever. It's usually at this point I decide if the nose is in the right position or not. You want to leave like enough room for a mouth because you want to have chin. Like, you don't want to have the mouth too low because chin is important. And then the jaw. And then how I do mouths, usually I always start like with a curve like this if you want to give him a cheeky little smile. Like a very slight curve, and then on the edges then you go up like so. And then add a little whatever there. I don't know any of the terminology for this stuff, it's just a whatever. And then another one on this side. And then it kind of comes down like that, and then you got a mouth. And then you like hate the position of it, so I grab it and then I'll move it around as needed, maybe tilt it a little bit. Honestly, I'm not super a fan of this mouth, and usually this is when I realize the nose is like totally in the wrong position. So it kind of maybe just go center it a little more, a little higher. He almost looks sinister. I think I didn't really draw it right, but I'm just trying to give like an example here. Okay, and then let's see, cheek maybe. Sometimes I'll give him like maybe his chin is like a little bit more squared on the bottom and not so pointy. Okay, and then for like his cloak, right? I always do the shoulders first so I know where the fabric is laying. So, you know, I'll start with like the top part like this, give it a little like this, and then I always like to do like a doot like here. I call them doots because that's what they are. And then it goes the same on this side. And then it'll come down like this. And curve it like this. And then a little like fold right here because it's kind of like loosely hanging. And then like there's the fold part. That's where I always put some shading. And then his hood. I guess from this angle it wouldn't really come down like this like I usually do it. It would probably, you'd probably see a little bit of the underside. Maybe, or it would be really, really shallow. Like that, maybe. And I usually use like his nose as a base for where it should go. Just try to kind of keep it centered because the point should be like right in the center of his face. I already got that angle really wrong. It needs to be like this. Like a really shallow angle because of the angle of his face right now. I always do like the inside first. And it'll kind of come out like this, and then there's like a little wrinkle, and then come down like this. And then also think it's coming out a little too far, so adjust that a bit. And then touches like the top of his head. It's like goes here, and then the little fold in the back falls down like that, and then you got the wrinkle on the other side. And then there you go. That's how I draw Seventh-Soul-Sans. Usually. I still am not super happy with this smile, but I'll stick with it for now. And then you can do like some, like, usually when I draw them, I like to cover this part up a little more, so I'd probably bring this in a little bit more, like that. Yeah, that looks better. There's a lot of adjusting, but you know, you get there. Really, I'm not liking the mouth, but I'm just gonna leave it. And then you can do convenient cover up and not ever have to draw the armor because he's wearing a cloak, and it could be like this. And then his armor's covered up. So that's how you draw Sans usually. If you want like a side view, you know, I do like this. I always start with the doot. You always start with the doot. Like that, it goes in like that, and then it's almost like a perfectly right angle. It just kind of depends. And then the nose, and then the mouth, chin, jawline. It comes down like that. Doot might be a little bit too dooty. And then forehead, top of head, comes around, and then goes like that. I mean, it's probably not exactly accurate. I feel like my style changes a lot very often, but you know, I think the nose maybe comes out a little too far, so kind of bring it in a bit. And let's see. And then the neck. Yeah. And then the jaw isn't quite right. I think it needs to go up a little more like this. And his nose. There's a lot of trial and error just until things just start looking right. And then eyes like that. Like flat on the top, and then it kind of comes down like this on the bottom. And the eyebrows, kind of the same thing going on. You always want the eyebrow to like try to go like in this, where it kind of pokes out like that, and then it turns into the forehead. Scar. Always forget the scar. I always forget the scar. And then that was my phone falling out of my pocket. Don't worry about it if you heard that. And then the smile. Smug. And there you go. Side view. Okay, for Frisk, I'm going to shrink this down a little bit to make some room. Oops, nope. There we go. And then for Frisk, it's, I guess, should I show the hood of this? I mean, the hood is basically just like that, and then that, and it's kind of like the same situation. And you got like how the back goes like that, and then like that. And then you got your hood. Sometimes I'll do like show a little underneath like that. And you can erase the head, and now he's got his hood on. Okay. And then for Frisk, Frisk is, let's see, try doing like, you start with your circle. Always start with a circle. I'm gonna try to do hers like more straight on, I guess, so it can show like the bone in her hair. Very classic anime style face, you know, it kind of goes in like this, and you got your jaw, it kind of goes like this, but you know, her jaw would be a lot rounder, because she's like all cute and shit. And might not be perfectly symmetrical, but I'm trying not to use like a symmetry tool. Usually don't bother with her ears because they're covered up by hair anyway. Her eyes maybe like right here ish. I just kind of guesstimate. And then I do eyes just kind of round like so. This is where a symmetry tool will come in handy, because then you gotta draw the other eye and it always never looks quite the same. Like thick eyes on the top because of her eyelashes. And eyelashes. And she's got like big adorable eyes like so. Maybe you can even add like highlights or whatever to make her look even cuter. The nose is typically like, usually for when it's straight on, I just kind of do like a diamond shape for the nose to like show like a shadow. And then same situation with the smile, it's like an upside down arc, and then like that. Yeah, the symmetry is like way off, but whatever. I think her nose, usually the nose is like always closer to the mouth than it is the eyes. Because again, you want to remember your chin. Chins are important. I think her face can be a little shorter. And then her hair. I always start with the sides before I do the bangs. Although lately I've been drawing her like this. Like I'll start with the bangs, I'll start with the top like this, and then it'll angle straight down. It's kind of like a new art style for her bangs that I've picked up. And then, you know, just typical short hair. Probably should have drawn her neck. Sometimes I draw her hair like longer than that. I don't, it's never consistent. And then her little turtleneck. And her hair covers her ears, so you don't usually see it unless, you know, like... And then... swoops this way. I have it like come down to the middle. And then it swoops again that way. Her hairstyle changes a lot. Sometimes I had it always swooping to one direction, and then sometimes I have it like right down the center. And then the bone hair clip, obviously. It's always on this side. I've drawn it on the other side before, like when I had to, for another drawing, but it's supposed to always be on this side. And there's the bean. And for like women, their shoulders are like more narrow, more rounded. Probably should have drawn the shoulders before I drew her turtleneck so I could actually have the fabric kind of fall over her shoulders. But yeah, that's how I draw them. Yay! Tutorial! Okay. The end.